Growing up in the Huff neighborhood in Cleveland, Ohio, there were many individuals we identified as hustlers. Very few were able to make it out, and even fewer were able to turn that hustle into a real business.
Cleveland native and high school dropout with a lifelong vision of becoming a successful entrepreneur. Fueled by determination and resilience, I built my empire brick by brick, never giving up on my dreams.
I'm James.
And I'm Jason.
Welcome to the Soapbox Hustle, where hustle and strategy meets in the world of service. Double the mic.
Double the game.
What up, everybody? This is Soapbox Hustle, where hustle meets strategy in the world of service. Episode Deuce. Is that right? Is that two? Uno, dos? Episode number 2. We got myself, James Barnes.
I'm Jason Teal.
And we are the Soapbox Hustle. Double the mic.
Double the game.
There we go. So this episode, we want to touch on the beginning stages of starting a business, man. I think that's one of the most important. Like I said, we both went through it, but a lot of business owners are aspiring entrepreneurs, business owners today. And this is one of those topics that it kind of applies to most industries, even outside the service industry, man. You could, whatever you're trying to start, this is a, good information for you to listen in on. But starting a business, man. Jason, look, I'm ready to start this business, man. I'm about to go set up shop, man. Look, forget the legal structure, man. I'm about to make me some money, man. How we going about doing this?
So there's actually a lot of information, a lot of good information out there. And forgive me for kind of going off my phone here, but I got a lot of good notes that I really want to touch on some of the points. So as it relates to our business, the service industry, the first thing, I think in just business in general, and I think a lot of these same rules apply for most, but the main thing is going to focus on, your niche. Like, what are you going to specialize in, right? So in our industry, is that residential cleaning? Is it commercial cleaning? Is it specialized cleaning? Meaning, like, is there a specialty service that you provide? So is that carpet cleaning? Is it flooring? Is it painting? What is it that you are looking to do and specialize in? What are you looking to be an expert in? I would say once you figure those things out, the second thing, you want to create a business plan, okay? So your business plan is going to outline pretty much everything from your startup costs, pricing, what you're going to charge in terms of like your business, so you're going to charge by the hour. Is it going to be a flat rate?
So I would actually rewind, Jay. Right? Let's dive into the niche part of starting a business, man. I think we kind of touched on some of these things in episode 1, but understanding what you want to specialize in, right, what the supply and demand is behind it. Yes. In my case, or in our case rather, we chose the janitorial industry, but not only the janitorial, but the commercial side of cleaning, right, and janitorial. And for me, like I say, the reason was I quickly understood that for me to, acquire a certain amount of dollars, whatever the case may be, in dealing with people, I'd rather take the commercial route because it was more profitable, more lucrative in a sense for me, in the long run. But you had similar reasons of why you did so.
I wanted to be rich, but
straight up, hands down, man.
So look, I'm not rich at all, but I really didn't have a clue then, and that I think it's important, even that we're talking about this, because I think a lot of us do things to get a check. Mm-hmm. We have to have a passion for what we do. I don't want to say you have to, but I think it's better to have a passion for what you're looking to do. That way, it doesn't just become a job. It really becomes something that you love, right? Yeah,
and to touch on that, man, for me personally, like my passion wasn't cleaning, right? Mm-hmm. My passion was entrepreneurship, but figuring out a business that I can get into. Yeah. That people, like they say, at a young age, people could take me serious at. But yeah, man, I wasn't like, I'm gonna be the best cleaner that there is. It's like, nah, I'm intrigued with growing a business, expanding my knowledge of entrepreneurship, actually putting this knowledge to work so I can get into the cleaning industry, right, the service industry. But I never was like, we gonna, now of course in building the business, right, we want to separate ourselves from everybody else. So we aspire to be the best, but I'm not the best, right? But I understand to be the best, I have to hire the best, right? So I never claim to be the best cleaner, even though, listen, man, I will tell y'all, You put me up against anybody on my team, man, and they can hear me say this. I'm putting them up under the rug, Jay. Like my detail orientation, man. Like I'm slick with it, man. But that's just me having the passion of running a business and the passion of being the best business and the passion of separating myself from everybody else. But all that is tied more into entrepreneurship because, man, I tell people all the time, like if you go solely on the passion of that specific business, right, and the numbers don't make sense behind it, my man, all you got is a passion, right? If I'm passionate about baking cakes, but my numbers ain't adding up, then what I got is a passion. Is that really a viable business, right? So these are things you want to consider, while you take those steps of, evaluating if business is for you.
That's right. Yeah. So I think with these steps that we're giving you, it's going to actually get you there from being a passion to a legitimate, I think, successful company and expert in what you do.
No, absolutely, man. Those what was step 2?
So the second thing, I think this really applies across the board. It doesn't have to be like just in the cleaning or service industry, but you always want to have a business plan. We need to understand, what is this business about? How does it work? How does it function? So again, we need to find out what the startup costs are going to be. Because a lot of us, we go into this thing blind and we try to figure things out in our head, and the reality is things don't always line up. Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
So we got to have a clear vision of startup costs, equipment charges. What does the insurance look like for your business?
And that's all part of the business plan, correct?
All a part of the business.
Man, you want to give some real quick, man. I'm going to touch on like just developing a business plan. How were you when you wrote your first business plan?
I would say, gosh, man, I would say 35.
Okay.
So I didn't, and again, I didn't take the traditional route, I would say. But I would say, 35 was, but I didn't, my first business plan, it wasn't for this business.
Got you.
I wrote a business plan for a vodka startup, actually. But
Okay.
that was the first business plan that I had ever written. But once I wrote that business plan, I understood that really the same rules kind of apply across the board.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those same basic principles, right? The marketing, the advertising, the finances. But man, I was keep telling the same story, man. But I was fresh out of high school, and I'm trying to find my way in this world of entrepreneurship. I'm still at home with my parents, and I'm working, but I'm studying, right? So I remember even before I got the gig with the commercial cleaning company, I'm up strategizing and studying. I mean, when I say studying, Jay, I ain't talking about reading a book and then I'm on to the next. I'm talking about when I was reading a book, bro, I was taking my time to take notes on all these different books. One of the first few that I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? Talk about the importance of starting a business. But then I started getting more specific into whatever I was. This before, like, of course, internet was out, man, but we didn't have like the smartphones at our disposal like that. Even if they was, like, we wasn't in a position. I wasn't in a position to get it, but I started studying things more specific to what I was seeking. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was in the middle of writing a business plan, I'm studying books on business plans, and of course I'm using computers and stuff too. But I'm really utilizing books, man. Shout out to my mom, man. We had the entire. I remember the UPS man came to our house years ago and delivered this big ass box of encyclopedias, man. Back when we was in elementary school, and like this was our internet before the internet, man. So I wasn't I wasn't new to old school cracking open those books, man, and getting to it, bro. But yeah, man, started studying how to write a business plan. But I remember I wrote a business plan. I probably a completed version, minus the finances, right? That wasn't something that I was strong at, that I had to later delegate.
Your like projections and
Okay. Yeah. But because at the time it's like, man, I don't have no projections. I know I need to get cleaning materials, right? I know I need to say to get that, but that was the first draft. But the second draft, we delve all the way into, we got to make sure that, all right, it's gonna cost me this much to supply for one cleaner. I can break it down, how much it costs me to get started on the site per cleaner, right? Right. But yeah, back then, man, it was a very rough draft, but that helped put it on paper and actually writing these things down helped me further wrap my mind around the steps to doing so, and then actually implementing those steps right? It made a big difference. And then if you can't do a business plan off the bat, I suggest that you start with an executive summary.
Yes.
Right. It's a shorter version of of the vision and how you plan to execute as well.
No, that's good, man. It sounds like really at a young age you really wanted to understand business and how things function. I think just on a general level.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I think I was just so like ready to get into it.
Yes.
Just like I want to go from like 0 to 100.
Man.
I failed miserably,
Bro.
I failed miserably, and I didn't take the time at those moments where I probably should have been like you studying, excuse me, trying to understand this business as a whole.
But there was still some failures. I'll let you. Yeah, I'm with you. But we still, even after all the studying, man, it was still a lot of trial and error, bumping the head and failing. Yeah, man. But those things, that's what make great entrepreneurs, man. You go through these processes and not falling down, but being able to get back up, man. Being able to lick those wounds, man, and keep going. Like, man, we took some losses, but the trick is to keep going. But
right, you really want to start off by choosing a business name, making sure the domain is going to be available for your website or potential landing page, right? In addition to that, you want to figure out if you're going to have, a limited liability company, LLC. I know a lot of people throw that around these days. Sole proprietorship, which I think a lot of people don't realize when you have a sole proprietorship, it's really just one individual. I know a lot of times they'll run that off of your social security number as opposed to you getting like an actual EIN number. So I can say, for instance, if I have a sole proprietorship, my name is Jason and I'm doing business as ABC Company. So Jason, DBA, doing business as ABC Cleaning Company. That's what a sole proprietorship is. So you don't have any employees. You don't necessarily have, I would say, payroll and things like that other than yourself. And legally, I'm not sure you can really operate outside of hiring employees and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
No, I think it's important to point out too, man. You have all these third-party entities that will try to draw you in and pay these crazy fees to register a business. I want to say you can do that for free. I know for a fact in the state of Ohio, the only thing you would have to pay for is the registration through the state. You don't have to pay a lawyer for basic businesses, right? Or pay an attorney to go and file these documents. We have in the past, but for other more complex entities that we've set up, right? For partnerships and some nonprofit entities and things like that. But starting off as an LLC, we went to the state's website. We'll drop some of these links in the on the screen as we talk. But we went through the state's website, registered the business, and like I said, it's like $125, $150.
Yeah.
Very inexpensive, right? And the third parties, the legal Zooms and things like that, they'll charge you $300-$400 to establish an LLC. Man, I think it's highway robbery. And you could also get, once you establish the articles of incorporation through the state, whatever your respective state is. I know Ohio, we can go and get the EIN, employee identification number, for free. We pay absolutely nothing, right, through the IRS website.
Okay. No, that's good information, man. And I would say the last piece of information under this, I guess, category is going to be, well, the third option. I mean, you have many options, but I think the top three are LLC, sole proprietorship, and a corporation, which gives you more legal protection. So once you obtain your EIN number, you'll get that from the IRS, right? And we can put the phone number and a link for that in here as well. The next thing is, with your business license, you got to make sure you have any permits, things like that you need, depending on the city and state that you're in. Yeah,
and I think because we are talking more so to service businesses, right? With us in the cleaning industry, there wasn't any mandatory licenses that we had to acquire to move forward, but there are some trades, right? And it says trade specific that you have to be licensed, contractor, things like that. Yeah. That wasn't something that we had to do, but we can provide resources onto, how to go about these things as well. Kind of come further down the line, but some of the certification, I guess it's a touchy subject right now because of
I think the climate of
everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But we, Immaculate Management Group, formerly Immaculate Cleaning, we were registered as a minority business enterprise, as well as Edge It's in connection to the MBE, DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, and Minority Business through the city of Cleveland. I think most of those entities require that you are in business for at least 2 years before you can go through with the minority status. But again, given the climate that we're in these days, I don't know if it's something that, you know what I'm saying, we need to address immediately. We want to see how things play out.
Yeah, I think it's always an option. I think depending on what state you're in. But since we're talking about that, I think a couple of things needed for that people don't realize when you're filing for these different certifications. Make sure your taxes are up to date. I think it's anywhere between like 3 and 5 years of your taxes have to be up to date. In addition to that, some states call for like a net worth statement, so they really dive into really like your finances.
Yeah.
Man. It's super important that you have these documents ready and available. Some are calling for a resume.
Yeah, let's hope that let's hope that we can continue with the DE&I efforts, right? But let's hope and pray that if they do, right, that they can simplify the certification process, like, and gather some of this paperwork. And I get it, right? It's like it's a toss up because on one end, these the process by being so extensive and they doing all this background, they want to make sure that, hey, these are real disadvantaged minority businesses that's taking advantage of some of these perks, right? But on the other end, it's like, man, you make it extremely difficult for these businesses to get involved because a lot of us don't have, the correct paperwork, right? Or have up-to-date tax documents, and we, have a CPA on speed dial. We can say, hey, I need that balance sheet. I need that profit and loss statement. Hey, I need my personal net worth statement. I know for me, it was extremely challenging, right? Being a new business, trying to obtain a certification, man. And we all know how it is dealing with those government officials, bro. Like, come on, man. Everybody act like they, you know what I'm saying? You call down to the Office of Equal Opportunity. Hello? What? They do everything but cuss you out, man. So it's like, man, you're on an island by yourself unless you, I think it's important point too, unless you involve with organizations like Urban League, Jumpstart has always been a big help. We was plugged into the Hispanic Business Center. These are all resources here in Cleveland, but I'm pretty sure that most cities, right, have some type of minority business assistance center or just business assistance centers in general that can help you throughout these different processes. For us, Urban League was a game changer, man. They came through and was able to kind of intervene in that process, bro. Because I was about to go down there and start, hey, man, who was I talking to on the phone, bro? Like, ever come up here? We about to throw them, like, it's going to be an issue, man. I got auntie with me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I set mine up in the state of Maryland. And actually, I set mine up during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, like, nobody was open, nobody was available, everything was online.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really, for me, I think, like, clear instruction on how to get certain things done. So we would submit certain documents, and then it would take them 3 or 4 weeks to get back to us, and they'll say, hey, you need to get, page 3, line item 5, notarized.
Yeah.
It was just like a lot of different things that were, to me, somewhat discouraging.
Yeah, a lot of roadblocks.
And I think, again, since we're off topic, but we're on topic, since we're kind of touching on these things, I think that when that happens, sometimes it may be done just to kind of throw you off a little bit.
Man, listen,
that's just my personal opinion. But to the viewers out there, please, 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 please do not be discouraged. Just keep pushing along in your journey, and I promise you will get to your destination.
But I think it's important to say too, man. Man, before you start going through these different processes, man, evaluate the pros and cons of, these different certifications, right? Make sure that it's even right for you and your entity. I was very vocal, and I got better, man. I think that's why me and Jason get along, man, because he more laid back and balanced, man. I'd be quick to go out there and be like, hey, man, I see so and so. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? But, bro, yeah, man, like, make sure that it's right for you, because it took us a while to really reap the benefits of having certain certifications, man. For a while, the only upside to it was that, and this is big, right? Because we're going to talk about this in later episodes, but the importance of cash flow, right? So I didn't realize it then, but for certain projects that we were servicing, this certification gave us the ability to speed up the payment terms, right? So if we're doing $50K in work or contracts for these people, and and we're gonna go into detail because this is an extremely important part. But let's say we're doing 50K in contract work, and the terms are net 60, right?
So what does that mean? What does net 60 mean?
Net 60 means that after I submit the invoice, I have to wait a total of 60 days to receive payment. So the key word is after I submit the invoice, right? So that's saying most times we can't submit the invoice until we 30 days in on the job, right? Okay. So net 60 is really what? Net 90. Net 90. Throughout those 90 days, I got to pay these people, right? The payroll is due. Got to get materials. Got to front all the upfront costs that it takes to service this project, and I can't get paid until 60 days after I submit the first invoice, right? So
let me ask you this really quick. So as a business owner, and it's going to take you technically 90 days to receive payment, how does one actually, if you don't have the funds, how does one actively try to seek funding or get funds to pay for these projects?
Man, so this was one of those early lessons I had to learn and try to navigate through, right? Because I didn't have the luxury of going to, uncle, auntie, mom, pop, hey, I need to, get this money. And I didn't know enough at the time to position myself to be what they consider bankable, right? Okay. So we had to be unorthodox in ways that we went about, staying afloat, and then learning these hard lessons with cash flow. So one of the things that I did was, and I think I'll suggest it too, is easy to do, but get involved with factoring companies, right? Factoring companies will say, hey, we'll buy your receivables for you. So I go and I got 100,000 worth of receivables that we look in the front, right? I'm not looking to receive. These factoring companies will purchase the receivables for a very small percentage, right? The good companies is 1%.
So when you say receivables, do you mean actual contract?
The receivables. So we got accounts payable and accounts receivable. So account payables is everything that we have, the expenses that's going out. Okay. Account receivables is everything that we got coming in, that we're receiving. Yep. So these companies, it's changed a bit, because when we first started, we were dealing with a company called Blue Vine. Blue Vine saved my life a few times. I would have had employees chasing me down the street, bro. But Blue Vine came through, brought these invoices, right, of work that was already completed, but we waiting for payment from these entities. And Blue Vine fronts the capital. And then, man, we need some. Hold on, let me stop. We gonna stop giving these people drops, man. We ain't getting no ad money yet, man. But shout out to Blue Vine, man, for saving my life. But Blue Vine fronted that capital, right, so we able to pay the bills and pay our employees as well. But cash flow is one of the most important things in the service business. Very few businesses understand the concept of cash flow. Cash flow is making sure that everything is in alignment with what's coming in and what's coming out, right? You don't want to have 20,000 going out on the 1st, but you ain't getting those invoices paid to the 15th. So you have to manage your budget around the cash flow. But that was one of the things that we did. And then also, man, we build relationships, man, and we try to get surround ourselves with people who can help put us in a position to be bankable, which is what happened.
So since you brought up a good point, relationships. Let's talk about the importance of relationship building. I would say, I think just overall, but more specifically in our industry. So I've had situations where I didn't necessarily know a person, so it made it very difficult for me to obtain work, obtain contracts. But I noticed once I started building relationships, and I learned the whole relationship building thing just working for the 2 companies that I did in Maryland. And it was really just a lot of, as it relates to, I think, the customer or potential customer, dealing with that particular contact is a lot of whining and dining in a sense.
Oh man, so, you about to get us canceled before you can get started, man. Bro, hey man, you it's like the Illuminati behind the scenes, man.
It's almost like taking a girl on a date, and you're trying to accomplish a goal, right?
What's the goal? You trying to?
You're trying to roll out the red carpet, right? You're trying to make it look like you're bigger than life. All of these things, but I think on a serious note, as it relates to our industry, yes, it is. It's literally that. It's a lot of whining and dining. So what does that mean? As it relates to building a relationship, you may have to take them to lunch, happy hour. You may have to take them to a ball game. You may have to take them to a Beyonce concert, right? It's a lot of things that I think people really don't understand.
That's hilarious.
And yeah, I've been in situations where I meet a customer and it has literally taken me a year to either get in front of them or to sign off on a contract because we're spending that much time trying to build the relationship. We're wanting the person to try to get to know us and get to know the quality of work in our customer.
Man, there's so many layers to that, man. There's so many different layers to that. The first thing is, you mentioned Beyonce. It's funny that we are actually taking a client to the Beyonce concert in New York come May.
Okay.
Like, yeah, we trying to get this guy to do something for us, man. He big time. Look, have your wife tell her get ready. We taking her to the Beyonce concert. That's what it take. That's what we gonna do, right? But man, if anybody know me, and I talk about this all the time, we built this industry built this business on relationships.
Yes.
We are like, man, it's not about what you know. It's about who you know. Talking to you recently, man, about a few things. Now I can sit back and kind of chuckle at it because we've positioned ourselves to be in the same position, man. But man, you talk about these RFPs coming out. Man, the deal is done 2 months before the RFP even dropped. Deal is already done. You know, we talk about this. The deal is already done, man. They already didn't talk to who they need to talk to. Now they just going through formalities, right? Now we got to get 5 bids in order to pick a winner. But we've met with him 10 times. He's taking us out to dinner. We done went to the strip club with this dude. Yeah, we trust him. Matter of fact, he knows some stuff about us. It can't come out, man, or it's bad for everybody.
So real quick, so for the viewers who don't know, what is an RFP?
A RFP is a request for a proposal.
Okay. So in a request for a proposal, it's a generalized packet of information, normally a PDF, normally like a PDF that they'll send out to you. Yeah. And it gives you all the requirements, locations, any and everything that you need to know about this particular location or place that you're looking to service. So for people who don't know, there are a lot of specifics that are involved around it. They look for certain things that you have to have, updated insurance, a certain type of insurance. Man,
they want to know. They want to flip your organization upside down. You want to provide them with as much information as possible, right? Like again, that's if you think that you got a high chances of don't go and bull crap your way through it, man. You don't even have the capacity to service this account. But we gonna start wrapping up a little bit. We gonna save some game for y'all for the next episode. But it was a situation to where so I actually hired a few proposal submission specialists, right? Okay. And now they can sit back and submit as many proposals as possible, but we're very strategic, right? If there wasn't some groundwork done prior to submitting this RFP, if we haven't had conversations leading up into the submittal of this RFP, we're gonna stay away from it because they already had conversation with you, and you to where they know who the winner is before the RFP even drop. Now it might be some situation to where it really is not as competitive, right? To where are they really looking for somebody they could trust to fulfill these different obligations, but that was it's far and in between, few and in between. So man, we gonna wrap it up on this episode. Say something for y'all for the next episode. Jason, I'm gonna let you give them some closing remarks.
Have a clear vision of what you're looking to do and execute. I think for me it's that simple. I think for you it's that simple. I know it's not that simple for everybody, but I think it is if you have a
execute
your plan.
Want to point out anything that you heard in this podcast, we are able to help you go through these processes. Like, follow, subscribe. We are trying to give you guys opportunity, right? We passing out contracts, right, Jay?
A lot of contracts to be passed out.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't passing them out. You gotta earn it, but you can make some money with us, man. We ain't here just giving you game, right? We want to give you opportunity as well. My name is James Barnes.
I'm Jason Teal.
Shout out to our sponsors. This episode has been brought to you by the IMG, Immaculate Management Group.
Check us out, the imggroup.com.
Yes, sir. This has been Soapbox Hustle, where hustle meets strategy in the world of service. See you on the next episode. I think we naturals at this point. Jay, how you feeling about that?
I'm doing good. I feel great about it. I feel amazing about it.